And guess what? While the level of EDCs in Indonesia was one of the highest in the world, far higher than the US, I discovered to my amazement in the village where Surya and the other teachers lived had one of the lowest levels of obesity in the entire world. Everything she told me about the list of ingredients she gave me was the key. It all made sense now. It explains why Surya and the others, who even though they worked in Indonesia in an extremely toxic environment, never overate and didn't have an ounce of fat on them, and were incredibly healthy and lively. As I finished reading, I began to cry. Not because I was sad, but because for the first time ever, I felt hope that I could actually get my life back together and finally stop blaming myself for being too fat and ugly as the reason my ex-husband left me. Now, with that being said, don't go out and buy a crate of Garcinia just yet. You see, next on Surya's list of craving crushers was Panax ginseng, which is shown to detoxify the EDC called DEHP, found in nearly all plastics, and it's specifically known to help boost your immune system and increase energy levels. And then there was guarana that detoxifies the endocrine disruptor ZEA and is also known for its anti-aging properties. And next was grapeseed pyruvate that cleanses the harmful EDC cadmium found in vegetables, nuts, and cereals. It even supports healthy blood pressure by lowering triglyceride levels, glycerol, and fatty acids found in your blood. Plus, a whole host of other plants like capsicum, a detoxifying bell pepper known for its ability to help prevent cancer and also improve vision. Eleuthero root, full of antioxidants that detoxifies EDCs, supports healthy immune function, cardiovascular health, and emotional well-being. Ervingia gabonensis, which helps fight high cholesterol and diabetes. Maca root, overflowing with antioxidants. Maca is a rich source of phytonutrients praised for its ability to rapidly increase libido, energy levels, mood, and greatly reduce the symptoms of PMS and menopause in women. Glycyrrhizin, also known as licorice root or sweet root, a plant abundant in detoxifying properties. It not only helps detoxify harmful chemicals from your body, but also helps with gut health, a very discussed and misunderstood medical topic these days. It also helps with respiratory problems and protects your teeth and skin. In the end, Surya's ancient recipe included 10 all-natural ingredients clinically proven to detoxify the body of EDCs that exist on our planet today, and in turn, addressing our body's resistance to motilin and stopping food cravings, but also preventing harmful fats from being stored, while helping cleanse the kidneys and liver, support a healthy heart, blood sugar levels, skyrocket metabolism, increase libido and energy levels, and support a healthy brain and joints. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Here were completely natural ingredients that had been scientifically proven to target the root cause of belly fat. Yet, not a single doctor or the weight loss industry had ever told me anything about them. All they wanted to do was keep selling me expensive diet plans, exercise routines, and miracle diet pills. I was now more determined than ever to not only melt my body fat, but to be as healthy as I'd ever been. But then I thought, why stop there? Why not help millions of others too? And then I came across yet another problem. It took me days to source all the ingredients from the recipe list from all over the world, thousands of dollars to buy them, weeks to extract the potent seeds and leaves one by one, then dry them out, grind them down, and measure them into the right required ratio exactly as the recipe had called for to make this liquid gold, as Surya had called it. And by the time I was finished, I was completely exhausted and wasn't sure I even followed the instructions clearly. I understood now why Surya was so protective of this liquid plant mixture and why she kept it under lock and key. This wasn't going to work. I needed to think on my feet. I needed a plan B. But first, before I did anything else, I needed to make sure that what I was doing was actually work. And that's when God showed up, again for me, right on time. As I sat there pondering what to do, a phone began to ring, and it wasn't my cell phone because that was right in front of me and not ringing. And then it clicked. It was the phone that Brian gave me weeks ago. So I ran over to my coat closet to grab it out of the coat pocket from the coat I was wearing that day. I immediately answer the phone and excitedly shout, "Brian, Brian, you're never going to believe what happened. I found the secret. I found the secret." I explained to Brian everything that happened and my trip to Indonesia and the incredible health and vitality of all the natives there, and the little leather pouch with the liquid blend of herbs and plants. And he tells me we need to have this checked out and verified just to be sure. So he gave me an address to a medical lab about an hour outside of Henderson to meet with a renowned independent doctor and medical researcher all of the big weight loss and diet companies used for product testing. This guy is the best in the business, and he will know if what you say you have is the real deal, and he'll verify all those ingredients on your recipe list. Some Syria, he explained. So I immediately rush out of the house with my recipe list and the liquid drops I created and started driving. I finally arrived at this big white building with a bunch of reflective glass windows, which looked like some kind of secret government building. And as I pulled up, I saw Brian waiting. I walk over to meet Brian, and he asks me if I brought everything, and I said yes. We were waiting for about 2 minutes, and suddenly a man with a lab coat walks out a door on the side of the building and tells us to follow him. So we quickly walk inside and down a long, dark hallway to a huge laboratory filled with all types of scientific and medical equipment. The man we followed inside quickly turned around once we had entered and introduced himself. "Hi, I'm Dr. Thomas Avery, and Brian tells me you have something that could potentially be revolutionary and help hundreds of thousands, if not millions." "Hello, doctor. I'm Tanya Harris. I just want to say thank you for agreeing to meet with us, and yes, I think I've got something very special, but would like to know for certain." I began explaining my story and then proceeded to hand him the recipe list Surya gave me, and he takes it and he tells us to just wait here as he goes back into his office. He directs us towards an old-looking sofa against the wall. About 3 hours go by, and Brian and I are still sitting on this couch, and at this point, I'm starting to grow restless and look over to Brian and ask what could be going on. I know Dr. Thomas was very well, and he is very thorough, and right now he's just triple checking himself. "Be patient. We'll know soon enough," Brian responded. Not even 3 minutes go by, and out walks Dr. Avery with a giant grin on his face and a gleam in his eye. "This is extraordinary," he exclaimed. "All of your research is correct. This is going to change lives. You see, Tanya," he continued, "when you told me your story earlier, I began to become hopeful because your story really hits home with me. I have a wife around your same age, and she has been struggling with her weight ever since our first child. And with me being a doctor and weight loss expert, it has been so frustrating for me because I felt like if I couldn't help her burn off belly fat, no one could. She's tired of failed diets, and it's really starting to take a toll on her health. I've triple and quadruple checked your research, and these ingredients, and it's all correct," Dr. Avery exclaimed. "Look," he began, "we all know that skinny person that never seems to put on weight. Well, they aren't special. They don't have a secret. They're not just Motilin resistant yet. We are all affected by EDCs, endocrine disrupting chemicals, at different rates based on our body type. In fact, women are affected by EDC-induced Motilin resistance worse than men. The human body has not evolved to synthesize its own detoxifying nutrients to clear out this new threat. The EDCs, they've only been around for the past 50 years or so. So, based on what I've found and what studies show, the only way to do this is with the incredible plants you've discovered. That's great, I said, but this needs to be shared with the whole world. We need to figure out a way so people like your wife can start using this recipe for themselves. And without a second to think about it, Dr. Thomas responded, I'd love to help. So Dr. Thomas took Surya's recipe of 10 natural ingredients and tested hundreds of different formulas and gauged what happened to motilin resistance. It took 6 months of research, but eventually Dr. Thomas found the perfect combination. Plus, Dr. Thomas had found another 11 amazing nutrients that, when added together with these nutrients, would boost the power of the recipe even further. So you benefit not only from the detoxifiers Garcinia, Panax ginseng, capsicum, guarana, eleuthero root, and 5 more, as we've already mentioned, but newly discovered detoxifying ingredients like raspberry ketone, African mango, L-carnitine, tryptophan, chromium, EGCG, plus 4 more that, if taken alone, would have little effect, but when formulated together and consumed once a day, would produce remarkable results. In total, 20 herbal extracts and nutrients made this plant formula twice as powerful as the original recipe consumed by Surya and her family and friends. Dr. Thomas stated, this new breakthrough addresses the one true cause of motilin resistance, endocrine-disrupting chemicals. When you correct and target these toxins, you can naturally support your ability to feel full and satisfied after eating, so you will no longer feel hungry and will effortlessly drop pounds of fat. You'll support a healthy heart and blood sugar as your motilin resistance and food consumption is addressed. What's interesting, Dr. Thomas continued, was that when you first gave me the recipe and explained to me that Surya and her fellow natives were taking these ingredients and grinding everything down to make a liquid, I must admit I was a bit puzzled as to why they were doing this and not just making a powder to ingest. Well, I figured out exactly why. While I was testing everything and trying to create the most powerful and potent blend possible, every single combination and test showed that every one of these ingredients, when they were ground up into a powder or taken by themselves, were 60% less potent and as effective as they were in liquid form. That's why diet pills never work. It's because when you break supplements down that way, they lose most of their powerful benefits and nutrients. And this is why you see more and more drug companies designing their medicines to be taken in liquid drops. Capsules are becoming a thing of the past. That tribe in Indonesia already knew this from years and years of testing this blend out. But they don't have the technology like I do to make this blend even better. This is the future. You're going to love this. Are you ready? He asked with a huge smile on his face. Using modern technology and the medical advances we have today, I have figured out a way to keep this ancient recipe in its original liquid form, but now I found out a way to make it much more smooth, more soluble, and much more powerful. As Dr. Thomas finished explaining everything to me, I was so excited because I knew nothing like this had ever been attempted before in the history of weight loss, and I literally couldn't wait to get started. And the best part was, because the proprietary blend is 100% natural, completely non-GMO, and without any additives whatsoever, making it completely safe and tested, and the facility where we produce this liquid blend is FDA registered and GMP certified, we didn't have to wait for approval. We just needed one willing patient to put the protocol to the test. And of course, that patient was me. It took every penny we had to produce a few weeks' worth of our liquid drops for me to take once every morning. And honestly, I'm not going to lie, I was a bit hesitant the first time I tried the liquid drops. I couldn't help but think to myself, I must be crazy for doing this. I was optimistic, but I was also worried at the same time and had to force myself to keep taking them every morning. I prayed this wasn't just another waste of time. After 7 days, I lost about 3 pounds, but I thought nothing of it until later that evening, and something remarkable happened. I was having dinner at a friend's house, and she handed me the bowl to grab a second portion of food, a habit I'd gotten used to since I'd gained all the weight. No, I'm fine. I'm actually quite full. Thank you, though, I said. Wait, what? I thought to myself. I had to stop and think about what I had just said. I hadn't said that in I don't know how long. I looked at her in shock and then burst out laughing. Remember, belly fat is simply a symptom of motilin resistance. Well, since I had tackled my motilin resistance, my cravings literally vanished, and the weight started melting like ice cream on a hot summer day. And the best part is, I still was eating cake, pizza, chocolate, and all my favorite foods. I didn't force myself to stop eating. I wanted to. I was full and satisfied after just a couple of bites of my favorite delicious treats. The way our bodies are naturally meant to function. It was like a gastric band had been fitted, and each day following was like a dream. Every morning, my weight dropped 1 pound, 2 pounds, 2 pounds, 1 pound, but the best was yet to come. Day 21 was a Saturday morning, and I'll remember it forever. I decided to casually weigh myself and see how I was doing. Even though I looked lighter and felt the best I had my entire life, a part of me still felt like my old self. I stepped on the scale and screamed, but my scream quickly turned into tears, and soon I had a wave of tears rolling down my face. But this time, they weren't tears of guilt, of shame. They were tears of happiness, of joy. And soon enough, I was 71 pounds lighter. Yes, I know, I'm real. And it still seems that way, but finally, this story, my story, was beginning to change, taking me from this to this. Slim and sexy lady I'm proud to look at in the mirror every day, and I'm actually learning how to love myself. Oh, yeah, and by the way, I just so happened to have a new boyfriend, too. Every single trace of the unwanted fat caused by my pregnancy years ago and the depression I'd suffered from my husband leaving was finally gone. And every day I was safely shedding pure belly fat, arm fat, chin fat, and my love handles disappeared. I was so excited to see my last pair of jeans I bought falling off my hips in a way they hadn't in 25 years. But not only that, I had so much more energy. I was sleeping better than ever. The arthritis I suffered from writing so much from being a teacher was completely gone, and all of my joints, for that matter, were pain-free. Even greater still is my hairdresser asked what kind of hair treatments I had been using because even my hair was thicker, fuller, shinier than it ever had been. All my fears of worsening health vanished. When I saw Dr. Andrews again, he couldn't believe his eyes. He was speechless that I had lost all that weight and achieved it all by myself, naturally and safely, and without any stress. That evening, I threw all of my diet food in the trash. What an amazing feeling that was. It was like a time machine taking me back years before this nightmare began. But the most amazing thing was watching my stomach, watching the belly fat I'd been fighting for years and years shrink away to nothing. Then one day I came home after work and decided I'd try on some new sexy lingerie I'd always wanted to buy but was always too embarrassed to. And around the house I went, carefree and quite frankly excited to see how it looked with my new body. I finally walked back to my bedroom and looked at myself in the mirror and knew from that day going forward I was never going back to ugly body fat or depression or heartbreak. As brief as that moment was, it was one of the most amazing moments of my entire life because I knew I had done it. I was never going to be a slave to my body ever again. I had broken free from the cycle of motilin resistance. I was back in control of my own hunger. I could hardly believe it. I was desperate to get the formula out to as many people as possible, but Dr. Thomas warned me that one person wasn't proof that it worked. And he was right. It may have worked for me, but would it work for everyone? I wanted to see if the formula would work on people who were suffering the most with uncontrolled hunger and weight gain. I decided to post ads online and even in local newspapers, asking for volunteers who might be willing to put our fat-burning formula to the test. They had to be over 40 years old, overweight, and unable to lose weight no matter their diet or how much they exercise. They had to be tired, fed up, and ready to make a change. After just 10 days, we had 45 people suffering from varying degrees of weight gain to put it to the test. The results were so much more incredible than any of us could ever have imagined. Without exception, and within just a few weeks, all 45 volunteers reported dramatic drops in their hunger and cravings, and in turn, their weight. The average weight loss was 54 pounds. Energy levels soared. Dangerous visceral fat around organs vanished. Brain fog lifted. Aches and pains subsided. Stress disappeared. Sex drive returned and rocketed. They supported new healthy hearts, arteries, and blood pressure. Many reported seeing their abs for the very first time in their lives. A total of 96% of participants went on to lose over 59 pounds of fat. The other 4% lost over 45 pounds, but were no less overjoyed at the weight loss and health benefits they'd achieved. I received emails, phone calls, and text messages from people just like you, just like me for that matter, overwhelmed with joy and amazed with the results. People like Danelle, who lost 64 pounds of stubborn belly fat. Danielle said, "I'd given up hope that anything would ever work for me. I was beginning to think that someone like me couldn't be fixed, but then I stumbled upon Tanya and her discovery. I can't thank you enough, Tanya. You saved my life." Or Bethany, who lost 67 pounds and said, "I've been using your formula for 4 months now. This has been a dream come true for not only me, but for my marriage itself. My body has totally transformed. These days, my husband can't keep his hands off of me." Or just look at what Carly, who lost over 68 pounds using this formula, had to say. "I honestly couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like magic or something. All my food cravings disappeared, and all the extra baby weight I had carried for so many years was gone, just like that. Now I can finally fit into my favorite dresses again. I'm so thankful." Or even John, who is an actual doctor and lost 51 pounds using this formula, said, "Even with me being a doctor, I still struggled to find anything that could actually help me lose weight. After researching and verifying your ingredients myself, I decided to give your formula a try, and wow, this is incredible. I look and feel 20 years younger. This discovery has changed everything I thought about weight loss." Or Lucille, who lost 74 pounds and has now put her type 2 diabetes successfully in remission. Or Rebecca, who lost 68 pounds and persuaded her husband to try, and he lost 23 pounds in 12 days. Unbelievable. Or Mike, who lost over 100 pounds, yes, 100, said, "I'm so grateful I found Tanya and all this natural formula. I honestly thought I'd never enjoy my life ever again because of my weight. I was in such a dark place and had nowhere to turn. I found Tanya and heard her story and was hopeful. Let me tell you, her discovery has literally changed my life. I have more energy, better health, and just more all-around joy for life that I would have never experienced without this. Thank you." Or Brandon, who lost over 64 pounds and became a fitness trainer. Or Sonia, who lost 52 pounds, said, "I've been a cook for almost 20 years, and rarely did I ever get to enjoy my creations because I was afraid of the weight I would put on. Now I'm actually eating more than I ever had and have managed to lose over 50 pounds. Simply amazing." And the list of lives and bodies transformed of individuals just like you who gave this formula a shot and never looked back goes on and on. This is it. We've done it. We developed a natural, clinically proven treatment for addressing even the worst cases of uncontrolled belly fat. After seeing the effect that insatiable cravings and weight gain had on my own life, I've made it my mission to ensure that no one else ever has to suffer like I did. This protocol works, and I'm excited to say that the obscene statistics about our weight are due to change forever. Remember, due to the toxic environment we now live in and the overly processed food we now eat, our cells are being relentlessly attacked by endocrine disrupting chemicals on a daily basis. This happens no matter where you live on Earth. It is unavoidable. As a result, They predict that nearly 75% of all American adults will be overweight by 2020. Today, things are finally about to change. With the help of Brian and Dr. Thomas Avery, we've created a clinically proven and 100% all-natural formula that will allow you to finally melt your belly fat and take back control over your hunger and cravings with no medications, no exercises, no dieting, and you can start today. And we've called it Biotox Gold, the one and only all-natural proprietary blend that targets the true cause of your belly fat, motilin resistance. The very first 100% all-natural liquid drop weight loss supplement in the world. We've sourced all the purest, highest quality, 20 natural detoxifying nutrients and plant extracts that we've spoken about today and put the exact quantities into bottles with small and easy liquid drops you take every morning. Every bottle is manufactured here in the USA in our FDA-approved and GMP Good Manufacturing Practice certified facility under the most sterile, strict, and precise standards. These liquid drops are non-GMO with absolutely no additives whatsoever, 100% all natural, tested and safe. There are no dangerous stimulants or toxins, and they are not habit-forming or tolerance-forming. Losing weight with Biotox Gold is so simple. Literally anyone can do it. Yet it is more powerful and more effective than any diet or exercise on the planet. This formula is not only incredible for your weight, but helps support a healthy heart, brain, and joints, boosts energy levels, and much more. So you'll also be improving your overall health at the same time. And the best part is, there's no need to completely change your diet or starve yourself. Here it is, the solution you've always been searching for, ready for you to finally get the flat belly and slim body you've been dreaming of and which you deserve. 204,378 people have already transformed their weight size, energy, and lives with Biotox Gold. Take it now and achieve the same dramatic improvements in your hunger and weight that we have. It really is that simple. And you can get access to everything in the next 90 seconds. So, if you're ready for something big, something new, something exciting, then it starts right here by you taking a stand and saying, yes, I'm ready for the change that Biotox Gold can bring into my life.